One disappears, and you are now in the environment of a previous sacred space that you've been before. Tell me where you are.
Greetings, we welcome you to the community of the 15th dimension. We are here to spread a message for you and also to assist you in your quest and try to answer some of your questions.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Greetings. You say 15th dimension, that is?
Confirmative.
I don't think we've ever had the opportunity or the pleasure to to communicate on such a deep level before. How is
You were taken here because of the sincerity of the question you are going to get answer for, and we are the one chosen to help you in this task you are taking on.
very good. Very, very good. 15th dimension. On and that 15th dimension, what resides on the 15th dimension? What type of entities or energy is in that type of space?
All types of energy, all types of vibration that is ever going to be and have ever existed are in this dimension. Closest to the source, closest to your energy, and we are all one.
Excellent. Well, we were really interested in um, questions about what's taking place on the planet Earth these days. Planet Earth in the Milky Way galaxy. Of course, you're familiar.
Yes, and that is a part of the message we wanted to give to you today. We want to
Very
make you aware of there is a very, very big shift going on. Uh, as you say, a few weeks, and it's been going on for about 6 weeks now, and it will still going on for 15 more weeks. That you are going to be beamed with this energy, and it's going on not only on your planet, all your solar system, and all of your neighbor solar system also. And that is taking place because it's time to boost the masses to wake up. It's
so you
very
said
important in this timeline to wake up these entities on your planet that are still lingering in darkness.
and you say you actually said a time frame.
Yes, we are aware that you usually want a time frame in linear time. That's why we presented this for you now.
So to repeat what you said, in the next 15 weeks, there will be.
An increased amount of energy coming into your solar system, and they may cause some disturbance on your planet in form of volcanoes and tectonic movements, but we are there to monitoring it, so it will not be anything sudden. It will be taken care of.
And in terms of the people who may be in these particular areas, are is it in their contract to, say, for instance, die if in fact that there is.
They are there of free will in this time, and they are only the entities that are in that places that will be affected, as you will see as a catastrophe, are there of free will, and it's time for them to move on.
So did they know before they physically manifest on the planet that this would be a part of their experience?
Some of them are very much aware of this, some of them are not, but they are still needing this to happen for their ascension to a higher frequency.
And what about those who are here to, say, the ground crew is what we've been called? Uh, will there have to be any help from higher dimensional beings that they
Yes, there is
physically?
going to be help from higher dimensional being to control the uh, exposure and being here to control in what rate this taking place, because the frequency and the energy coming in is so vast. So they have to be able to control what is going on, and they are monitoring this all the time now. And
Will there?
you as a light being, a light worker, have the task to spread this message as good as you can now, because it's important for those who's working in this area you're working in, that they are going to be aware of what's going to happen. And if you look backward, it's already happened for some weeks now, and you can see it in that more and more people is waking up from that uh, sleepwalking they have been doing for so many years now.
And say, for instance, will there have to be a physical manifestation of the higher dimensionals uh, to actually help people physically move or
They will
transport?
be, but you will not be aware of that. There will be physical manifestation that are going to help in front and afterward.
And so, if we're not aware of it, it will be taking place where probably on the fifth dimension or the higher fourth, or
It will coming into your dimension where you are lingering now, and take manifestation just to help you to be able to help and guide you in this ascension that is going on now.
but will they be face to face or will it be? I know in one of Dolores Cannon's books, she said that um, they were at one point when there was a cataclysm taking place that they removed the population and they were able to watch from the ships in space as the planet went through a huge transformation and actually over a long period of time, and then what seemed like the very next day they were placed back on the earth, but after it had already rejuvenated itself in terms of where the earthquakes and volcanoes had taken place. The plant life and everything had come back, and so I don't know if it was over thousands of years that they were brought back to the planet in what seems like only the very next day for them, or would it be something like that that may possibly happen, or
Not exactly in that way, but many of you are going to have an urge to do some traveling, and you will move out of that area that is going to be affected more than other areas, and you have already this fault in tectonic plates, and you have already places where it's volcanically very active, and the people there are going that are willing to be saved will be saved. Yes,
and in terms of people financially being able to, will it will a way be made for those to be able who have a desire to
the funds
remove
will be
themselves?
able for them. Yes,
So it'll
they are giving the opportunity to be able to move away.
or travel and be out of the at the right time and right place.
Exactly.
But when you say 16 weeks, that's 4 months
Yes.
within the year of 2016.
Yes.
What else would you share with us in terms of what you see coming down the pipe, so to speak?
For the moment, that was the thing we wanted to put out there to make you aware what is going to happen, so it will not be a surprise for you light workers, because you are going to play a big role in helping with this also in different areas. Some of you are going to help physically, helping people that need help, and some of you is doing this by putting out the message.
Ah, very good. And so, are there particular places around the planet that are going to be more,
Yes, affected. Yes.
say, for instance, in the United States? There's been lots of tectonic movement and earthquakes in places that there haven't been for years and years, and some places, according to them, they've never had these earthquakes taking place. And of course, it's all close to the Ring of Fire. Do you foresee some of the super volcanoes being affected in this?
No, it's not going to be allowed now. But you
Very good.
can feel the rate of earthquakes rising, and mostly in the area that are really already affected by them. In your country, you have Alaska, California, and also down in South America. You're going to feel that the rate of earthquake in different level is going to happen, but
Understood.
not in that way that so many will be affected in that.
Understood. Uh, with this huge energy this wave of energy that's bombarding the planet, will it allow some light workers and enlightened people to come into full consciousness, or still just a slow, steady rise in their consciousness?
It will be a boost for the consciousness, just the fact that they are getting the message in a very much different way than they do today. So they are going to raise the consciousness in the awareness of what is going on. Yes.
Oh, very good. These messages, you say this particular message is coming from, you say, the 15th dimension. And
Correct.
are there lots of messages coming from the planet, or coming to the planet from this dimension? And I'm curious, not to say, oh, it's so wow, we get to go so high or whatever, but I'm just curious.
There's a lot of message originating from this place and are going through down through the dimensions, because you could not get the direct messages into your awareness and mind, because it should be too overwhelming for you. It's so high frequency that your body are not coping with that.
So, but somehow Lars's body is able to handle this frequency.
We have been preparing him for a long, long time now.
Ah, very good.
But he is also vibrating very high, but he is not in our dimension now. He's getting this dimension, this message from this dimension, but he is in the seventh dimension himself, but receiving this from us.
Ah, very good. And when you say us there as a, would you consider yourself a collective of entities uh, presenting as one, or
We are a collective of entities, energies, but we are also all the same one. It's very hard for you to comprehend that, but we know that some of you understand that fact.
Understood. Earlier, we were told uh, that in 6 weeks, these 6 weeks, and I think we're probably at week 3 or 4 right now, that there was some major energy coming through and having a huge impact. How do you foresee that energy, and how is it impacting? What is the largest impact that it's having on um, the population right now? Are you familiar with?
There are going to be more of a collective awakening now that are starting up different movements on your planet. There are going to be big crowds of people getting together to to work on a different field. Uh, there are going to be many of you that are going to be appointed to different field of work on your planet, and you will soon
And
be aware of that.
are we going to be aware consciously, or will it still be more subconscious work that we're doing while we're sleeping?
Now you will be aware of that consciously because we are going to tell you what to do. But the
And are
message
you
can come in the sleep or in the dream, but you will wake up and feel that I have to do this now, and then just go with it.
Oh, very good. I have different people coming in, meeting me of late and having the desire to meet me and work with me uh, out of the blue. And what is that about?
That is them waking up to another insight, and they resonate with your work. But you
Very good.
will also be aware that you are monitored. So we urge you to use your intuition that will never lie to you, that will always speak the truth to you about people's intention.
Well, I always almost, I mean, because there's so many people coming at me with so many different type of things where, I'm so attracted and we're supposed to work together and they get what they want and then a lot of them just disappear off the face of the earth, never to hear from them again. So, I mean,
Then you sorted them out. It's the energy you're sending out to them to make them disappear, as you put it.
very good. And
Because
how,
it's not in the benefits of all to do this work with them, but because they have not the best intention in mind. But you're very much aware of this. We can see that.
we were having this conversation earlier and we were speaking about the messages that are coming through. Right now, are you channeling the information through Lars via the seventh dimension, via the 15th dimension? Is that how this works? Or if you could explain this a little more, please.
We we took Lars to the seventh dimension because it was not possible to raise higher now, and he has
Understood.
been prepared for this, and he have also got message before that that make him able to receive this message from our dimension down through the dimension where he is now existing as an entity and an energy.
Ah, very good. Very good. And
You can
how,
you can see it like we are having a telephone connection to him in some way. We are talking to him via a frequency that are transparent through the different dimensions.
and in these sessions when that I facilitate, how am I affected by these transmissions?
You are getting a lot of download lot of download every time you do this. And for every time you do this, you will raise a little bit higher for every time you're doing this, because you get more and more influence from your surroundings and from your internal being, and your awareness is rising very fast.
which is where all these questions seem to be coming from.
Exactly.
Am I answering, asking the right questions?
You're doing just great, and there is no wrong questions.
Well, so uh, what am I not asking that you know that I really have a desire to know, and for those who are listening to desire to know, please.
You are very much focused on your own ascension sometimes. You're focused on that because you have a internal curiosity that you have trouble sometimes to take control of. But it's not wrong to ask that question, but you not always get the answer you expected to have, or that you wanted to have. But you're going to have the answer that's appropriate for that time.
I understand that, but and immediately, as soon as I said what I said, I almost heard what you were going to say or hear your response, and I wanted to sort of reiterate that. What I'm asking is, there are questions that I know that I possibly have, and I know that there are others like me on the planet who actually listen to our messages and our questions and answers when we do this. What could you share with me that it's inside my heart to ask, but I'm not exactly sure. And I don't mean just for me personally. I mean for anyone and everyone who's listening to this. I'm always trying to find something a little bit more positive to share with coming from such a high dimension as opposed to, okay, I'll just stop right there.
We can say as this to you, that as soon you get an urge to do something, you resonated with millions of people, but you're not aware of it, and they are not aware of it. But just your attention to do something is resonated through all the universe, and you may have a hard time to understand how that's possible. How can a single little being as me resonate so much? But you are not singular, you are not alone, you are a part of a collective that are all connected, and you are connected to all living energy in the whole of this universe. So your attention, if you are setting your mind to do this kind of session you're doing here, you already resonated with millions of people. And that's why there are so many contacting you now, because they think they just stumble up on you, and they think that it's just a coincidence that they meet you in different media, but it's not. It's your intention to drag them to you, and you have a big role in this, and you are doing that a really good way. So, but you also have an urge to know about yourself, and you are going to give some answer for that. But you, as you don't like us to say to you, is that you have to wait and be patient. It's coming soon. You get this message over and over again, but you are also being affecting very much now these coming weeks in front of you. So your awareness will rise, and you will be aware of that it's rising. You will see many things in a different view from that you are doing
Perspective.
now. Yes.
Very good. We had a desire to know. Well, a bunch of things have entered my head while and I listened very carefully to what you just said, and I appreciate that. what you're sharing. And one of the things before we began, I wrote a few things down. Uh, could you please give us a little bit more history of the beings, the entities, the ones that have been here for a long time and the ones who have volunteered to come in and come and do what we're doing now on the planet Earth? And could you give us a little bit more history as to how we are where we are and from where we've come? And I'll let you do that in any way that you think is appropriate.
The history of your planet that you are aware of, going back several million years, and the history, as many say, that the people came out of Africa, that is not 100% true, because many things took place in other area of the planet. One place that was active very early was the place you now call Australia. There has been going on a lot of transporting of beings in and out of that area by their own will, of course, because you always have that possibility of choosing. And we want to remind you of the history that you have been in a higher frequency before on the planets. You have this you call Atlantis. It's not the correct name, but you can call it that. You can call it whatever you want, but that was a frequency much higher than you're receiving now, that you are vibrating in for the moment. But that ended up in a catastrophe, and they spread out of this planet, and then it was in a lower vibration for a long, long time, and now you are back in that moment that you are able to raise again to the same level of knowledge and insight and vibration that you had have before on the planet.
Understood.
You have also interpreted the help you got in a wrong way many times in your history. You have interpreted help like gods, and for you it was gods because of their knowledge was so high, but their intention has been good, and I have helped you before, and the same being is back now, helping you again.
And which beings would you be speaking of, please?
You call them Pleiadians, Orions, and so on, because it's from that area in the universe that they originate from, these beings, and they are here now to help you again. And I have done this so many times before, and now it's never going allowed to going back to a lower vibration ever again on your planet. You cannot go back to the third dimension, to this to this lower frequency again. It will not be possible. That will take place in other areas in the universe, not on the planet Earth.
Understood. And you spoke of Australia, but could you tell us more about? I'll ask about Australia later, but about um, Ireland. I've heard that Ireland has a vast history that has been literally cut off from the planet, and my ancestors come from Ireland.
That's have been going on a lot of contacts with extraterrestrial beings in that area, but that we talk about in Australia is much, much, much older. It's going back tens of millions of years.
So you're saying older than what you were speaking of in terms of Australia?
No, the oldest history comes out of Australia.
Ah, very good. Okay, understood. Continue, please, if you would, about it.
And where what's going on in the area in Europe, Ireland, what you know call France, what you know call the Netherlands, and so
Yes,
on. There has been a lot of connection to different ETs, extraterrestrial, as you call them, in good and in bad. But that is not possible to take place now. But the history, longer back in your history, is not originating from that area.
understood.
Just some knowledge that you are not alone. You're never alone.
And
You
is it accurate? I'm
you
sorry.
you have an urge to isolate you as a singular being, and the area there which we were talking about earlier was enlightened just to see and to spread that you are not alone. You are not a singular being, and they were aware of that. They have you call it sorcerer or druids in the early time that have this contact with the ETs and did spread the message, but it was not taken so well by the ordinary people on that areas. They thought it was witchcraft and so on. They didn't really take on in that timeline.
And what about the elementals, or those they call the fairies, and that that we hear so much from that area of Ireland? What is that population of entities?
There's is some very old entities that has always been on this planet, and their mission is totally different from the people's missions. But they fulfill a very big part in this planet's history. They have different agendas taking care of the nature, the oceans, and all all of that things. They're taking care of the forest, and they're taking care of, in some way, some illnesses, also some diseases. They're helping with this. Not only for you humans, also for the animals.
Oh, very good. So when I speak of that, you're speaking of the elementals per se, or
Yes.
what we call the elementals, and that's all over the entire planet, not
Yes.
just from.
No, you have different names for them.
Okay.
Elves, fairies, gnomes, and different
I
names.
keep seeing, like I see little people out of the corner of my eye running through my home. Is that my imagination, or am I seeing into higher dimensions?
You're uh,
Literally.
you're seeing into higher dimension in a different level. That's why you perceive them. That's why you perceive a lot of things that ordinary people don't see. They can see through uh, devices, but not directly if they were beside you. It's only you that see them. But your devices can pick them up.
Well, I've picked up lots on my devices and on the devices, and I guess that's to show for everyone else that at least I don't talk much about the things that I see running around my place out of the corner of my eye or whatever, but I do always show what the devices pick up.
Yeah, and you have to be aware that your frequency attracts the likes as you, and they are in many different shapes and forms. So you're
And
beaming out a frequency that attract other entities to come to you also. Some of them are curious, just wonder what's going on, and some of them are there to assist you.
I was told that before, and I'm not out of egoic, but I have to ask this. You said my vibration is seems to be sort of high then to attract so much.
Yes, it is. You're beaming like a lighthouse. You're sending out this light, but you're not aware of it, but it's perceived by other entities and also by extraterrestrials. You're like a lighthouse.
I
Uh,
was told that before.
yes.
Like right now, I have this little feather cough going on. Uh, I've been told over and over that I was a healer and that we all on the planet have the ability to heal ourselves. And
Yes, you just have
what do
to
we do?
tune into that. You have had this ability more close before on this planet, but you have forgot. But it's coming back to you now, through you and through others. There's a lot of healing going on all over the planet. There's a lot of healing workers being aware of that they have this ability, as you all have, but not have access to.
And is it a literally just a point of remembrance, or what do we do in order to really tap into that healing? Because it's so important right now.
You need to tap into that knowledge because when you came here, manifested in this lifetime, you decided to manifest without memories because a path, a part of the path you were walking was just to get access to that knowledge from a 0 point. And many of you are not aware of it, but you're getting into it. And we also urge you to practice this. Practice is the best way to get knowledge, and you can practice it on each other. You will not do any harm. Just use positive energy, positive thinking, sending love, and you also can use it by touch. Touch each other in a not a sexual way, just touch each other with love.
Well, personally, I'm a licensed massage therapist and I teach traditional Chinese medicine, which are all the energetic healing modalities. And I find it real easy for me to do it on other people. And there may be a lot of people listening to this who are in the exact same boat as myself in terms of Reiki healers and traditional Chinese medicine healing, energetic healing, and massage therapists. But where I think the biggest challenge has been for us to do the healing for ourselves and for myself and anyone else who would possibly be listening. Uh, you say just practice, 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 and keep sending unconditional love to ourselves.
The best healing you can give to yourself is that accept that you are not separated and a singular being, and accept that you have this knowledge, and accept that you have to put in an effort to love yourself. Many of you do not even want to see themselves in a mirror because they don't like what they see. You have to go past that and start to love the things you are, because you are so much, much, much more than you see in a reflection from a mirror. And when you integrate that into yourself, then your body will heal. And you can heal whatever you want, whatever disease you get, you can heal that with love for yourself.
Well, what I find so interesting is I can only speak from my personal experience, but I've been doing energy work and cleansing my chakras and teaching other people and doing all these things, but yet and still, uh, it's it's part of my contract to uh, to have certain illness. It's even now, like I say, this little dry cough. I've been trying to get rid of it for over 3 weeks right now. Uh,
Something you have to experience to understand. A feeling you need to have experience of. If you never feel, felt a toothache. You can never understand a toothache. Uh, Not matter how they try to explain to you, you can never understand that.
I
And
was already in a hospital and almost died,
yes,
and I was in and almost died. And I mean, it's 12 years later. I'm alive and I'm well. I mean, what else? What else do I need to experience in terms of being so sick to be able to heal myself? I was able to get through that,
there's a
but
lot of feelings you have to go through in this lifetime, and that is the fact for all of you that are manifested here on the earth now. You're still a physical body you have to take care of. The body is very much physical because you leave that behind when you leave the body. And that is a challenge. And you are affected of viruses and so on, but you can clear them out by loving yourself and giving love to each other. That will conquer everything.
understood. And thank you very much. Uh, I I know it seemed like I'm just speaking about myself directly, but I'm sure that there are many, many, many other people who are in the exact same boat or feel the same way. So I express it for everyone and not just for myself, but I can only, of course, speak from my own personal experience in these situations because I know and believe that we're one. So it's
That
what
was the exactly that thing we were talking about. You can just express your own experience verbally. That's why you're asking this question, and you are aware of that they resonate with many people, and they will take it into their reality. And then you're affecting many that are listening to you, and you're affecting many just with your attempts, as we told you before. So you're
so
doing
that,
a great work.
okay.
Great
So
work.
instead of me thinking that I'm just being some egomaniacal person, I'm actually helping the masses. Then what
Yes,
I do for one, I
nothing
do for
happens by
all.
accidents. Nothing happens without a purpose.
Oh, very good, very good. How's Lars's body doing now?
He's a little bit hot, but it's okay. He's always getting hot when we raise his frequency so high, but he's coping with it.
One question, we got into a very intense conversation about the fear mongering that's taking place on the planet, and it's pandemic at this point. It's globally, and Lars at first was tending to thinking that a majority of it was coming out of the United States of America, and that he wasn't feeling like it was coming from anywhere else. And we had a long discussion. I'm sure you heard that discussion, and I naming off a whole list of type of what terrorist activity, and he said, well, it was coming from internally. He was saying it's coming from internally as opposed to externally, where someone else is coming into a country and doing something. And I was telling him, even anyway. So our thought is,
He
what
was
can what
not
do you have to share?
correct 100% in this because something similar is going on different places on the planet, not only in your country, but your country have a high technology to put out the messages and the news in another way that under other underdeveloped country have possibility to do, but it's going on in other places also. So it was not 100% correct that he said.
Yeah, I think we sort of came to that conclusion. Um, in terms of it's futile, I say. This is what we came to the conclusion that as much fear mongering that's going on. I notice a lot of channeled messages. Lars tends to not listen to anyone because he doesn't want to be influenced by when we do these particular sessions. But whereas me, I listen to everyone. I listen to see just what they're saying. And, of course, there's something in my mind. As soon as I hear someone contradict themselves or contradict something they've said, like in before, or cross referencing, listening from one to the next or whatever, how easy is it to influence? And I ask this, but since we're on a higher dimension than any dimension we've ever asked, I ask a higher up level each time. How easy is it for these messages, these channeled messages, to be influenced by a negative force from the outside in?
The message per se is not influenced, but the people that putting out the message is influenced by many different energies coming in. They they are sometimes very contradictory in their messages. So you just have to use your intuition to listen to them and what you're resonating with, and you should be aware of all things going on. You have to understand that your country you're living in is a vast place. It's a very big continent, but the news travel very fast across the country, and all of the news is not good. But you are have decided to do that part, listening, just to be able in this type of session to ask that questions that are needed to be asked. And we have told Lars not to go into that. He's not aware of it, maybe, that we told him not to go into that, but that is why he feel that he should stay out of that, just because he had this urge not to be influenced intellectually in his mind, because he want to stay as neutral as possible. That is his intention.
Absolutely. And that's what we came to the conclusion. I was like, it's best for me because I'm the questioner. So I can question everything. And I, of course, as you may tell, I may notice, I do question everything, and I don't take it just because someone said it. I did have this question: is you said lots of energies are coming through. Are any of those energies that are coming through, negative energies, are any of them technology technological? Is there any technologies that they're using to infiltrate, not say per se, you say not the channel message, but the channel messengers, the people who are actually uh, giving these messages?
The messengers is not always aware of what they putting out, but it's not influenced from any energy coming from outside the universe. It's the energy that's still lingering on in a lower frequency and dimensions.
And when I say, but what about technologically? Is do they have technology that can
No,
portray?
no.
Very good.
They can do experiments on you, but they can't not influence your frequency and your vibrations. They can do experiment on your bodies and your mind, but not in your higher beings, in your higher self. No.
Has Lars had any physical um, visitations besides the one in the parking lot with extraterrestrials or even extra dimensionals of late?
Yes, he had the other night.
Could you go into detail, please? If you could share that with us, please, because he may not remember, and I'm sure he'll be very um, grateful. He mentioned something earlier, but I'm not exactly sure if that was something made me just ask that.
We made him take the form of an eagle.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. There we are.
He soared out over the earth and was traveling very fast. That was because we wanted to let him see where there is the most energy boost going on now on this planet because it's going to be important for him in the future to know about that.
Well, I would make a joke and say that was at my house, right? I'm joking. I'm joking. He
He
always
he was everywhere. He was literally everywhere. Uh,
awesome.
and he now try to work on that knowledge he's got internally, and he needs some time to make sense of everything.
To process it.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. We discussed that. Now, I've been having dreams, and some of the dreams that I have been so fantastical. I noticed I posted a dream about being on. They said I was doing work on a planet where I could tell that they had people who were working and mining or digging out some underground structure. And then in the session, it says that it was on another planet. And I know that I wrote about this. I mean, I recorded this session about this dream on this planet where they were, I'm not sure if it was a prison, but I know they were doing some major building. I knew it was underground. And that video disappeared. And Lars says in the session he said that it was a place that actually exists, but they didn't want to go into detail. Um,
We can tell you that that was a fact that you were visiting this place. There's a very low vibration there. And the fact that you were there was just to try to raise the vibration to stop what's going on, the exploration of the entities there, and also the exploration of their planets. But
would
they
you say
also,
that was that exploitation?
yes,
Okay, not exploration, but exploitation.
yeah, you were there to stop this exploitation of the entities and of their planets. Therefore, you were there visiting and try to help to raise the consciousness on that planet, and you will still doing that many more times.
So literally, this is just my by being there and exploring through that whole place. Uh, with my presence there, it would helping raise the vibration of the entire place.
You light it up. You light it up.
Very understood. Now, it's interestingly enough, I think that took place in February when I recalled that dream, and just recently I heard they said there was a place that was on the moon that had something like that going on where there were people that were being forced to build and that had been brought in, I guess, from the earth, and that place was destroyed. Once again, here we are talking about the moon and saying that there's these type of structures and plants and things going on, and we had already heard in previous sessions through a channeling, I guess from the 12th dimension, that this that there are, or 11th dimension, that there are no bases, or there that type of thing is not happening on the moon. uh,
No, there's nothing happening there now, except that there's coming and going uh, extraterrestrial, but there are no bases in an evil attempt for anything on your planet. There have been in the past entities on the moon that were here to try to interfere with your energy on this planet, and I have for a long time succeed in different area, in the military area, and in the you call it the black ops, but that
yes.
is clearing out. That is not possible. But the military is still trying to do experiment on your people, but it's in a very much smaller rate now than ever before, because even people in that area of the military and the black op is going to wake up to another reality, and they are now putting out this information more and more frequently, and then in the end it will be impossible for them to do this experiment on you, because they are going to be transparent, and they are going to, I think you call it busted, when they are trying to do this. It's not possible for them to go on any longer with it.
Understood. So they're no longer making any attempt to have that type of abduction experience with myself. Is that stopped totally?
That have stopped, but I have done experiment on you earlier in your lifetime,
Okay. And
and
then,
done that to many that were enlisted and voluntary in the military, and even against your free will sometimes.
okay, and understood. And I thank you for that. And also the place where that place where I visited, I guess, doing my work that I do, other than being a human here on the earth, doing what I'm doing here. Uh, and you said I was, they're exploiting the people and that type of thing. Is that taking place in this galaxy or in this dimension at all?
In this galaxy, yes, but in a low dimension.
So this is somewhere else where I'm doing work, and when I go in, of course, I go in as a higher dimensional being, and I'm there on their out of phase there. Well, actually, I wasn't so out of phase because one person saw me. Was that person just happened to be a higher dimensional or higher vibrational person who was able to
Yes,
pick up that I was there?
yes, as
Was
some of
everyone?
you are very perceptive to uh, uh, the things going on around you. There are people there that are able to see things that others can't see, but most of them is very much unaware of what is happening, and some of them are not even aware of that being exploited, and you are there to raise the frequency just by your presence there, and you do that, and you are continuing to do that, and not only on that planet, you are working in many different community together with other beings, together with other ETs. You're doing a lot of work that you're for present not aware of in your beings, in your mind.
In my expressions of myself, understood.
Yes.
Do I think that this one? Do I almost feel like a crybaby here. Is this the worst, or is this? I mean, you know how I feel sometimes when I'm just like, come on, this has to end. This has to. We have to get to the end of this road here. I don't know why
Yes.
I feel like, man, I feel like I've been, and to myself personally, even without saying it to everyone, like a big crybaby. Like, there are times that I'm just really like, this planet is beautiful. There's so much. I mean, it's a really beautiful planet. There's a lot of beautiful people here, but there's so much stress.
Yes. And many
So
of you have seen this fact that you have to return to the nature again. You have to connect to all living, and you have to be there physically. Go out, take a walk in the forest, sit down, listen to the birds, see the wildlife, and connect to them. You need to do that.
I can do that in my backyard.
That's a way. That's a way, but very limited.
Understood. Understood. Um, um, and so it would help us tremendously to do so, and it would take away a lot of the stress that we seem to be building by this slow process. uh, I don't know about, I mean, a lot of people are just thinking, okay, is that's all this life is about? Paying bills, paying bills, paying interest on bills, paying bills, paying interest on bills, everything.
And no, when you are getting away from that, but to reconnect, it needs some action from you to reconnect back to the connection you all have to be aware of the connection all living beings have, all living entities have. You need to go back to that area. You can, of course, choose to go out in the forest and sitting and thinking of how can I pay this bill, how can I pay that bill, then you are not reconnected. But
Well,
if you
I
go,
don't. Oh, understood. I'm sorry.
we're talking about the masses now.
I
You
understand.
need to
Sorry.
reconnect. You need to reconnect to the nature. It's you are a part of your nature. You are a part of this planet, and you need to take that seriously. And you need to stop the exploration of this planet and the destruction of this planet. And we can see it's taking place. More and more of you are aware of what you're doing, and that is a very good thing. But many people is in denial for what's going on. But we are trying to turn them around, and you are doing a great job with this, and many others do that. But we can feel your frustration because you are enlightened in a different way that many others are not. So it will take some time, but it will end up, and it's futile to resist this frequency raising of your area around you. Not only your planet, the whole solar system around you is going through this transition.
Understood. As I'm watching Lars right now, I see to the left hand side of him a little blinking light, like a little entity that's sort of sitting on his shoulder. What is that?
Helping with the frequency, helping him.
Okay. I don't. I guess everybody else will see this.